Hi everybody, welcome to Sew Like Dotty. I'm Alison and thank you for stopping by today. A little bit different, this is an extra one. It's quite a sporadic one. I'm a little bit excited about something I've done. I wanted to share it with you all. So you may know this year that I made a plan and I was determined to master shirring, and I've talked about it a lot on all of my vlogs, and you're probably going, oh man, not again. But there might be other people out there who are a little bit nervous about doing it, kind of not really sure what to do with the machines and how to get it going. So I wanted to just chat to you about the kind of different options and show you a couple of things that I've done and talk you through the different machines that I've done it on. So how does that sound? Okay. So first of all, what is shirring? Shirring is where you create lines of stitching, and you can use your normal cotton on the top stitching. So you would match that your normal top loading thread, you would match to your fabric. But then in the bobbin, you would use shirring elastic. And I've mentioned this before, you either wind it on by hand, which is quite time consuming, or you can wind it onto your bobbin using your sewing machine. But what you don't do is put that through the little tension loop on the top of your sewing machine. So I will drop a picture in of what I mean by that and how I do that. But also, if you want to check it out, I think it's in one of the very early episodes of the Sewing Bee. But yeah, you wind it on by hand. So shirring elastic is, I'm just going to pause it while I grab some. So this is shirring elastic. It comes on bobbins like this. And generally, to do it, say, like a 10-inch piece of a top, front and back, normally I would fill maybe about 6 little bobbins that go in your sewing machine. So obviously you can do them all in one go, or you can just do them as needed. If you're doing one long piece of fabric, it's kind of good to do it, and especially if you've got a top loading bobbin, you can sort of keep easing your fabric up to see where you're at with the elastic, to see if it's about to run out. If you do run out mid-row, it's okay, you can kind of stop and start, put a new one in, backstitch, and off you go again. But yeah, it's time consuming, I'm not going to lie. So the first dress that I made, which is this one here, this panel here, front and back, took me 2 hours. Now I know it was the first time that I'd done it. I didn't draw lines onto the fabric, I used the edge of the foot to follow the lines. This is from the Sewing Bee, the Modern Wardrobe, and it says to do 15 lines, and there are more than that on here. I think there's about 20, but even so it took me 2 hours to make, and I was like that, oh my word, am I ever going to get to the end of this? But I'm really pleased with it. It's not perfect, it's the first one that I ever did, but whatever way you do it, at the end you've got to steam it, not necessarily iron it, but get loads of steam into your steam iron and just go over and over, and it really brings that shirring in. So I'll come back to this a little bit more in a second. So I got a Necky 204D. It's a computerised sewing machine. It's possibly the top of the range ones of Necky. I don't know what it would compare to in other brands, but it does a lot of whizzy stuff. And when I tried to do shirring on it, it just didn't have it at all. I just was altering the tension, doing everything that I kind of was watching YouTube videos to do, and I just thought, I give up with this. So I know I've mentioned this before, I nabbed, I think it was in the shed or the attic, the Brothers sewing machine that's over there, which is the LS14. It's quite a basic, simple machine. It is a top loading bobbin, but there are loads of tutorials on YouTube about kind of top loading, or what's the other one? Regular bobbin, whatever that's called. But you basically kind of load it in, and then like my computerized machine, I wouldn't usually kind of take the needle down to pull the elastic back, the bobbin thread back up. Does that make sense? I can normally just sew, but with this I would always have to you always need to bring your shirring elastic up so it's on the surface when you start sewing. I hope that makes sense. So I got the brother machine out. I just put it onto the largest stitch. It's a dial, so I'm not sure how many millimetres it is, but you always want a long stitch. And with that, I took the tension up to number 8. I think it goes up to number 9, and that seems to work pretty well. And generally, I just kind of set off and I follow the edge of the machine, of the foot on the machine, to keep the lines straight. Really hope that makes sense. So I left that machine set up. In fact, it's still set up, and I keep going back to that. But eventually I thought there must be a way to do it on my necky. And so I just went back to basics with it. I never have to alter the tension on that machine. It doesn't matter what I sew, I never need to change the tension. So I actually just tried it with the Shirring elastic in the bobbin, the normal thread on the top, a normal tension, but on stitch length 4, and it worked. Happy days. But actually, if I'm doing an outfit that's got a shirred panel or something on it, I do find it easier to just have that brother machine set up, do the shirring on it, and then I can sort of go between that machine and the other machine. But I am lucky that I've got it's a small bedroom, but a dedicated space to do that in. I know everybody doesn't have that. So all I would say is just keep having a go with your machine, because I could have easily just given up and never have done it. And I love the effect of it. And you know, like if you're doing it in darker fabrics, it's not just, I kind of always thought it was for summer dresses, because I associate shirred dresses with florals and summer, but actually it's not. You know, you could do the edges of pockets, say, so I'm kind of thinking of cute sort of rounded pockets with some shirring elastic in and folded over. You know, that would be quite cute. There's lots of things that you can do. I'm going to kind of do some long cuffs rather than just a couple of rows. I'm going to try doing some long cuffs. And actually, I'm in the process of remaking this dress. I'm going to do another 2 versions. And rather than just putting the regular elastic through here, I'm thinking about doing some shirring around the top of the sleeves as well as around the cuffs, like this one does. So the reason I'm really excited tonight, and I'm really excited, is I did mention on last week's vlog that I'd followed just a YouTube vlog when I was looking at shirring with swimwear, and I've already mentioned this in my Friday sews today. So this might go out on Sunday or Monday. So the one that I shared on the 4th of August, I've talked about how I shirred this. Now I did do the first bit of shirring on my cover stitch, and I tried a sort of a toile of it on a thinner fabric, and I said that I just didn't think it would work. But what I realised to do was I didn't turn the stitch length up to 4. So although I started it on this and I didn't think it had worked, I just don't think I maybe had it set up right. So I am going to revisit it for swimwear, but as it is, this piece is now done. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But what I did tonight, I did my usual. Does anybody else do this? I'm just going to nip upstairs. I was actually sublimating some coasters for a competition, some prizes for a competition in group. And I thought, I might just give that a go again on a piece of scrap fabric. And I did. So what I'm going to do as I go through, I'm going to drop in some pictures. So if I keep looking at my phone, it's because I've taken pictures of each stage, and I'll drop those in, and I want to kind of talk you through the process of what I did. I know everybody doesn't have a cover stitch machine. You don't have to have one to sew. Mine's a combination cover stitch and overlocker. So some of the pictures are just how I change from overlocking to cover stitch, and then I'll just kind of chat you through the setup of it. But this was it. So this fabric, it's a viscose. It was in a Sew Hayley Jen subscription box. I think it was May or June. So this was it. And I just thought, I'll pull that in. And I thought, ooh, that's worked. And it looks really neat on the back, because the thing with the cover stitch machine is it kind of winds the threads together. So it's quite neat on the back of it as well. So I was really excited, and I just thought, you know, plough on, give it a go. So just in case you're kind of sitting thinking, what on earth is a cover stitch machine? I've heard of sergers or overlockers and sewing machines. So you'll all be familiar with cover stitch. If you've got a t-shirt that you bought or a sweatshirt is ready to wear, something like that, if you've ever had a hem that's kind of the thread snapped and then it's just ran, that's cover stitching. So cover stitching is kind of, you can do it with 1, 2 or 3 needles, and it just gives that real neat effect on a hem. And on the back of it you would see the threads that go like this. So it's kind of used, I think a lot of quilters use it. You can do some sort of decorative effects with it, but generally it's for finishing off kind of round necklines or round hems, things like that. That's what you would use it for. So the first picture that I'm going to drop in now is just a picture of my machine. So this is a Baby Lock Ovation, and it's an air thread machine, but it's a combination overlock and cover stitch. I know in America, if you're watching, you call it overlock or a serger, but I'm just used to the term, which is overlocker. So generally I kind of am using that for overlock, but to change it over, there's a series of things that you do. So I'm just going to keep checking the pictures because I want to keep making sure that I share the right one. So the picture that I'm going to drop in now just shows 1 needle in position on my overlocker, because prior to this I was doing a rolled hem on there, which is an absolute breeze. I love it. So the first thing I need to do is the next picture is changing it into a threading mode, and you can see there's a dial that you turn which is altering it from serging to threading, and this is just preparing the air thread for the loop. There's only 1 looper, and it's just preparing it to put the thread through. And then the next picture is also showing an arrow which is up down, and this is only because I'm changing from overlock to cover stitch, and these things take seconds to do. So I've got to change the upper looper from up to down, and it locks it in place because I don't need that looper. That's only for overlocking. There is a little table, so you'll see my finger pointing at something. So that's what's called the sort of the table, and you use a different one. So there's a little clip you press and you slide the overlock one out and you just clip on the cover stitch one. It's a little bit deeper, it's a bit more of a table when it's finished. And then the next picture is of the elastic thread. So when you're using the Shirring elastic on a sewing machine, you wind it onto the little bobbin. But with the cover stitch machine, you actually can put the bobbin of elastic, the reel of elastic rather, on and put it through the looper. So I've literally, you're going to see a top that I've done, and I've just had that reel on. I've not had to kind of thread the bobbins or anything like that, so that's gone air threaded, but you would just thread it through on you know, if you didn't have air threader, through the cover stitch looper. So the next button is me just getting ready to push the button, and that air threads it through, and then you can see I've got the side open and the little white elastic thread, you can see that it's come through, so that's how you know that it's through. And then the next picture is just me changing the needle. So I'm changing the needle from overlock, and then the next picture you can see I've changed it into needle 3 position, and that will give me the widest stitch point from the edge of the foot to the needle, and I just wanted to make that a certain width so I could then follow that line, and I'm really pleased with that. So you'll see that the threads come through, and I've got that threaded through. Now with cover stitch machines, I believe with Baby Lock, well I know with Baby Lock, as with an overlocker, you can chain on and off the end of fabric, but otherwise there's just something you need to do, which is quite easy with the needle thread, but this is slightly different to that. So you can see that picture there, and then the next picture is actually me doing the first row of the shirring, and then just a picture showing that I'd altered the stitch length to 4. So I'm just going to pop that away for now. Sorry if I was looking down there, but I just wanted to take you through them in the order that I'm going to edit them and pop them in so you can see the pictures. But obviously some of that was just me changing from overlocker to cover stitch. If it was set up as a cover stitch machine, I wouldn't need to do most of that, but when I got the cover stitch machine, I was in a small porch. It was kind of like 1.5 metre square, and I didn't have room for separate machines. So I traded in my Baby Lock Evolution, I think that was what it was called. I traded it in for a 1-year-old combination machine, so it didn't cost me as much as a new one would, but I had the benefit of both. And I got that from David Drummond at Edinburgh in the UK, I don't mind saying, because their service is absolutely second to none. So this bodice took me, I think I've said this already, but ignore the sleeves and everything else. So just this, with this pattern, you literally saw 2 rectangles and then you cut out the shape of the bodice. But when I shirred this bodice, it took me 2 hours to do. And the reason why I'm excited and I scooted downstairs was Carl, if there was a long-suffering husband of a sewist, Carl would win the award because he is so patient with me. I literally was like, get your phone out, I want you to add up these numbers. He must have thought I was mental. So I basically started my favourite band is James. The James playlist on Spotify, the general one. And I was trying to work out how long it took me by how long the tracks were. So he was adding that up for me downstairs. So basically with this, I did do it as a circle, but I think when I'm doing it again, I would do it as join the 2 pieces together, but leave it as one very long rectangle. But what I did firstly was I just doubled over the top and hemmed that on my regular machine, because you put a channel of elastic through here, and I wanted to do that first because last time I did the shirring first and then I just found that a little bit awkward to do when it was all shirred in. So I've now got that, and I've done I'm trying to find the side seams and I literally can hardly see them. So anyhow, this is now a rectangle, which is basically that piece. So this is the bodice, and then you attach the skirt onto this bit at the bottom. And I'm not going to go into the details of how to do that dress because I've made that dress and shared it before. I've not steamed this yet, so it's going to come in even further. But this took me 40 minutes. 40 minutes, and that's why I'm excited, because that is such a massive difference. Because in my holiday plans I want to make another one of this. I want to make a couple of simple tube dresses for around the pool, and I was kind of thinking, oh, you know, like 2 hours just to do the shirring, and now I'm thinking 40 minutes. That's an absolute dream. And I'm just absolutely over the moon with how this has gone. So it needs kind of, you know, obviously it's just in a panel, but I'm at Sawtoon on Sunday and I'm hoping to finish this off. So I'm going to do some shirring on the sleeves, and I'm going to try the top of the sleeve as well. But I just wanted to share this with you because I'm so excited about it. Yeah. And obviously once the elastic's in this will be a bit more rigid and stay in place. But I just wanted you to see it because I'm absolutely blown away by it. So yeah, what I'll do on Sunday is come back and add in, probably I'll do, you know, probably have a different outfit or something on, but I'll just finish off and I'll just show you the finished garment and probably pop a little video in. Hopefully I'll get that finished on Sunday. But I honestly, I just want to say, if you're thinking about doing some shirring, give it a go. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of time, even if you're using it on a machine, but if you do have a cover stitch at home, just give it a try, because honestly, I'm just blown away by it. And I wasn't going to do any more shirred swimwear, but actually I'm now thinking of just doing some panels that are like this with some narrow straps on, and doing the shirring front and back, which is different to that other one that I've done, because I just really like how it looks. And yeah, I'm really excited, so I wanted to share it with you. I hope that's all right. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, if you've had a go, if you're wanting to have a go. You know that I love comments and I try and respond to them as fast as possible. If you're new to my channel and you've searched for shirring and you found this, then please give me a thumbs up for a like, and I would love you to subscribe and get some notifications. That would be great. I love being part of this sewing community. I've learnt so much from it, and if I can inspire or help anybody else in any way, then I'm absolutely open to that as well. So take care and bye for now. Hi, so I'm back from Sawtoon. I've finished my dress, or almost finished my dress. So you can see that the bodice is done and the skirt is on. There's a couple of things that I kind of had to do today, but they were just sort of sewing things. I'd altered the width of the bodice pattern piece last time as I had to take it in a bit. And then when I attached the skirt to it, I couldn't work out why I had a bit of fabric over. But then when I went to start the second one, I realised that I hadn't altered the skirt piece. Rookie error. So yeah, sleeves are on. So they've got the shirring elastic at the base of the sleeves there. I think I did 4 rows around there. And I did a rolled hem initially on the shoulder and the shirring elastic, but I just didn't like how it looked. So I then turned it over, hemmed it in. I think I've pressed one side more than the other, so I just need to press this side down a little bit more. And people sort of say about the bra straps, but I'll be honest, I just sort of shoved my bra strap down there. And then they sit nicely there. The skirt, again, my plan was to put a ruffle on the bottom. And honestly, sometimes I just don't think. And so I'd cut the skirt the same length as the pattern. And so when I did gather and attach a ruffle, but it was just too long. So I took the ruffle off. I just cut it off with the overlocker. And the skirt's fine. I haven't finished hemming it because I just want to decide whether I want it this just as it is, or if I want to take it a little bit shorter and put a deeper ruffle on. And I do have enough fabric to do that, and I'll probably will do that, I'll be honest. But yeah, so it's just to hem. I'll step back a little bit. Sorry if you can hear the Carl and the dog downstairs there. So it's nice and drapey, as you can see. There's the back. Don't know how well you'll see it. I don't know if the colour's coming over because this room's south facing and it's very light outside, so the fabric looks probably lighter on camera than it is. But I really love how this shirring with the cover stitch worked. Yeah, really pleased with it. So there you go. So I'll get a couple of pictures and just drop back to the little chat. So bye for now.